$14,673,510,000 USD. That's a lot of cash. Now you might be asking yourself, Smack, is that the purchase price of Dwayne's latest yacht? And although I wouldn't fault you for saying that, sadly, you're mistaken, my friend. No. This is actually admittedly one of the most ambitious endeavors I've ever seen in my life from a gaming developer, let alone a human being or a company. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, I'll be honest. There's a lot of companies out there putting forth so much resources and budget towards the advancement of AI. But I didn't think Hoyo was this ambitious with AI themselves. Yes, it has finally been revealed where all of your primo gem dollars spent have been going. Now, of course, some of it is going probably to the CCP, some of it's going to development of future MiHoYo games, but we can tell precisely that if you're spending $15 billion over the course of 3 years, a lot of that money you're spending on your favorite waifus and characters in these gacha games from Hoyoverse is going towards the advancement of AI. But what kind of AI are we talking about here? This is the important part and what I found the most fascinating. But before we get into it, a word from our sponsor. Yo, captains, before we dive back into the action, I got to talk about something that's making a lot of waves right now. Quite literally, World of Warships, which by the way is a tactical naval action MMO and shooter where players command historical war fleets in the 20th century tactical sea battles. Well, what if I told you this game's completely free to play right now on the PC, and they are collabing with the most popular ship anime collecting waifu game in the gacha space, Azir Lane. That's right, the 8th wave is live right now in the World of Warships, where you can experience explosive naval battles, sinking ships all the way down to the bottomless depths of the ocean, while simultaneously collecting some of the cutest, most hot anime waifu girls and commanding them as the commanders of these ships. Also, these collab ships handle great. The voice lines are pure fan service, and the permanent camouflages are some of the best looking in the game. And regardless of whether you're new or coming back, you can use my personal code Azir Lane Wave 8 to get you a Azir Lane starter pack. Speaking of using my code though, you'd have to first download the game by clicking the link down below in the description box or the pinned comment in the comments section. It helps supports the channel while at the same time giving you some extra goodies and rewards for free. So what are you waiting on? Go check out that Azir Lane 8th Wave collab. It's live right now in the World of Warships. Once again, completely free to play on the PC. Grab those ships, grab those commanders by the waist, you know what I'm saying? And get to selling, baby. Let's get back to the video. Firstly, I saw a tweet from a gentleman that has a hilarious description. Experience MiHoYo's leaked materials, private servers, beta content, and more in Korean. And he put a tweet up, and his tweet said, MiHoYo has announced that it will invest 100 billion yuan, approximately 22 trillion Korean, that's 14.6 billion that we went over the next 3 years to develop a large-scale AI model. Li Wei said that if this project fails, we'll just consider it as having put on one big fireworks show. Now, of course, this isn't enough source for me to go off of, so I did go down the rabbit hole a bit, and I found the actual article that does verify that Dwayne did in fact say this. This is a goal of Hoyoverse, and it says it right here. Based on Dwayne's sharing, MiHoYo has determined its development goals and focus in the field of AI. Based on its self-developed basic model, it aims to enable AI to have the ability to self-evolve, thereby creating an AI independent civilization. Now, I had to stop right there immediately. By the way, that article has a lot more insight into the mentality of what Hoyoverse is trying to achieve, as well as the way and how they're going about doing this whole process. But the part where they said self-evolve in an AI independent civilization, as a massive anime fan, there was one anime that stuck out to me in particular, and I'm sure my insanely cultured audience is thinking the same exact thing I was thinking. I thought to myself immediately, wait, is that not just Sword Art Online Alicization? I mean, it's almost like a one. In fact, no, it is a one-to-one. Now, I'm actually a very considerate person, and I'm already taking into account that some of you may not know about Sword Art Online Alicization's concept of storytelling. It's actually not only very thought-provoking and fascinating, it is applicable to real life at some point in time, whether it's like in my lifetime or after I've already bit the dust. It's going to come sometime sooner or later, but I didn't know that the company that was trying to achieve it would be Hoyoverse. Allow me to humor you on this concept so that you can have an idea as to what it actually is. In Alicization, Flucklight is Sword Art Online sci-fi way of talking about a soul or a consciousness. And an artificial Flucklight is basically an artificial soul grown as an AI. Now, what is a Flucklight? Well, inside the story science, a Flucklight is the information pattern that is a person's mind. Their memories, their personality, and their awareness. It's not just brain signals, it's treated as a kind of light field or a quantum pattern that exists inside the brain and corresponds to what we would normally call a soul. You see, a human Flucklight equals your consciousness, which can be scanned, copied, and connected to the virtual reality inside of Sword Art Online. But the soul translator can read and write Flucklights directly instead of just stimulating the brain like the Nerve Gear, which by the way was the headset you would put onto your head in Sword Art Online and then enter this virtual reality. Now, this is where things get interesting with the concept because they start to explain how they allowed this AI civilization to be self-sufficient, ever adapting and evolving. This is the nerdy part where it explains how that happened. So inside of SAO, Alicization, they had a project where they would create a bottom-up AI by cloning human Flucklights and letting them grow as if they were real humans. They scan the Flucklight of a newborn baby. They strip away the tiny amount of early memories, so it's basically a blank template called a soul archetype. That template is then copied into light cubes, special storage devices that act like digital brains. Each copy is an artificial Flucklight, an artificial soul with human-like potential, but no memories yet. Those artificial Flucklights are then placed into a huge simulated world, the underworld, and raised from infancy. Because they live, grow, and form memories inside this world, they end up with fully human-like personalities and emotions. And that's why Alice and Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. feel like real people. They actually are people, just one whose consciousness runs on light cubes instead of biological brains. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk your ear off any further about SAO Alicization, but if you want to go watch it, you can go watch it and see how that all turns out. Like I said, very fascinating concept. It was a big hit because, well, that type of concept is usually going to attract so many different people and fans because it's so, well, possible in IRL. Now that we have that out the way, that was just to draw your attention into what exactly Hoyoverse is trying to achieve. So once again, you or me probably came to the same realization when you read creating an AI independent civilization. Sword Art Online came straight to my mind, but then I kind of felt like I might have been just capping or reaching a bit. And so I did a bit more deep diving and found an article from 2021 where Hoyoverse themselves quite literally says this. Here is the article. MiHoYo reveals goal to create a massive virtual world, February 27th of 2021, over 5 years ago. Now, some of y'all, maybe you've seen it over 5 years ago. I'm just now knowing this purely because I thought about the anime. But when we scroll all the way down here we are. MiHoYo hopes that in the next 10, and I want to zoom in a little bit more here, 10, 20, or 30 years, they will be able to make virtual worlds like the ones depicted in fiction. Movies like The Matrix, that was like a huge red flag as soon as they mentioned The Matrix. Probably should have left that one in the, probably should have left that reference out because we already have PTSD with The Matrix in real life right now, especially the tinfoil hat theory. But Ready Player One or anime like Sword Art Online can definitely make fans excited, and the current vision of MiHoYo is to create a massive virtual world, one where 1 billion people around the world would like to live in by 2030. Once again, this article was made over 5 years ago, and now we speed up to today, and they were dead serious. He mentioned that MiHoYo's investment in AI is a maximum of 15 billion roughly over 3 years, spending roughly damn near 5 million per year. And if it fails, we'll accept it and consider it a big firework display. No team can possibly achieve top-tier models without a firm commitment to computing power and scaling. These guys are legitimately trying to create a virtual reality world similar to Sword Art Online, where you have a self-sufficient AI model that is going to adapt, evolve, and they won't need an external person computing in prompt commands or typing in dialogue for the NPCs to respond or get from point A to point B. They will quite literally adapt. Now, I don't know what side of the offense anybody is watching this video, whether you're anti-AI or you're for this. I don't really care. My goal with this video is to create good conversation, good content, and talk about the idea behind what's happening as where it could go. Because this kind of idea, if you've watched Alicization, it doesn't just remain inside of a video game. It even goes to military politics because of pretty much a AI becoming capable of morality, integrity, right from wrong, can be transferred outside of a virtual world inside of a real AI in real life with that same consciousness, can be used as a military asset. That's where it went with Alicization, and I assure you that's probably where it would fucking go in real life too. But getting apart from that, let's hear what DeWay's thinking with his idea behind this. He believes that the most direct direction for AI to change the gaming experience is complete personalization. Now this here is actually kind of fascinating because I can see the logic behind it. Most games today, while having different controls, offer essentially the same player experience. And I think all of us in the gacha space can agree because game production costs are too high. Now this, I got to challenge a bit, okay? I find it hard for somebody like DeWay to say game production costs are too high when it costs them $100 million to develop one, 200 million tops maybe. And then they make 200 million in 1 month from just one of their 3 games, right? And so they recoup all the costs back. And then they're talking about if we lose $15 billion, guys, it's just a fireworks show. It's like, I kind of find it hard to take Hoyo serious when they say game production costs are too high. That said, Hoyo is the exception, not the rule. Game production costs are high in a lot of different fields. Not everybody is making that Hoyoverse money. So, however, with AI intervention, games can generate the content you want in real time, providing a personalized gaming experience. And so the idea behind this is that because the AI will be self-sufficient, ever adapting, ever evolving, you'll be able to get completely different answers and a completely different experience depending on the player that you are, because that's how they've designed the game. And that's what they mean by it's a complete personalization experience depending on the consumer. It's also going to be an insane amount of replay value due to this very nature as well. Now, it seems that their main core focus with this goal is to purely focus on AI NPCs as well as world design. So the AI model will purely focus on all of those variables and not on what the player is doing or I guess other activities and avenues that are going down the line. But I'll be real, when you think about where this is headed, it's hard for me not to imagine where you're eventually going to enter a world where these are fully fledged AI built games. If they can start thinking and talking and evolving on their own, then why would they not use that same AI model down the line to just create the games entirely? Now, a lot of people like to fight against this idea, but just speaking from a pure, coherent, and logical perspective, that is a world in which that reality could be a thing. But I digress. Let's get back on track. This year is 2026, and 3 years later, it'll be 2029. Remember, 2030 is the goal they're trying to achieve. The final year before Hoyo achieves its ambitious goal of creating a metaverse virtual world for 1 billion people by 2030. And once again, this was stated by them back in 2021. Regardless of the outcome, MiHoYo's bold $15 billion gamble, even if it ultimately turns into a firework display, will undoubtedly propel MiHoYo a significant step forward in its virtual world goals. I'll be sure to share this link down below in the description box and in the pinned comment section in case you guys want to read the rest of it. There's actually a lot of fascinating insight going into the rest of this in terms of the ideas. There are a little bit more details as to how they're going to be doing it. They even talk about not hiring the best experts in the fields of AI, but hiring more holistic and ambitious technology people, probably fresh out of college, because they'll have a more open-ended mentality as to what Hoyoverse is trying to achieve. They said a lot of ego can get involved with tech experts who are the best in their fields, and that's not what they're looking for, what they're trying to do. Listen, I think there's a lot to scrutinize here. I think there's a lot to be concerned about in terms of this insanely ambitious endeavor. But I actually see it as a glass half full, glass half empty thing, because on the other end of the perspective, you got to think about, like, if this were to actually become a real thing, you would have people who could genuinely, especially people who hate their lives IRL, who would just spend all their lives in a virtual reality dating multiple anime hot waifu girls, living that anime adventure they've always dreamed of. I mean, this is in a number of ways a crazy dream to sell. But then there's the other side of, the glass half full, glass half empty take, where, you know, what this could mean for society. I mean, when you look at statistics today, I think this is the first time in the history of humanity where humans are getting dumber and not smarter. And a lot of that has to do with things like this. And then there's the military political aspect of this whole conversation that could also become a reality. Once this actually does prove to be successful, the first thing that's going to happen is governments are going to want to get their hands on this and try and get these artificial self-sufficient civilizations transferred into probably AI models in IRL for military personnel. I mean, there's just a number of things, not to mention, if we're going to go for the moral high ground here, we also got a shit ton of jobs that are going to be getting thrown out the window due to this as well. It's a lot of different nuanced conversations. And ultimately, that's exactly why I made this video, because I thought it would be an interesting topic to discuss amongst the community. You guys comment down below, let me know what you think. But I thought this was one of the most intriguing headliners as well as news revelations from Hoyoverse that I have ever seen in the history of my Gacha space career. And I gotta say, guys, I'm actually intrigued as to where this is going to go. But now we know Dwayne isn't buying too many yachts. A lot of it is going towards some pretty, well, ambitious dreams, I guess you could call it. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and happiness. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.